Hi everyone, I am Dr. Anita Karthi, Professor, Department of CSE, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. This video is intended for programming for problem solving C language for the topic Arrays in C. Under Arrays in C, we are going to see 6 different sections as listed now. First section is about the introduction, about the array basics, real life arrays, and the types of arrays. Second section will deal with one-dimensional arrays. That is the declaration, initialization, accessing, reading, storing, and operations. The next section is about two-dimensional arrays. The declaration, initialization, storing, and operations of two-dimensional arrays. And the next section will be of multi-dimensional arrays, under which we deal three-dimensional array storage. And the next section will be the advantages of arrays, limitation of arrays, and the array construction for real-time application. And this video will be at last deal with demo of how a program is compiled in the C compiler. To start with, we have arrays basics. The array is a collection of homogeneous items. That is, it is of same data type. Say, we can say as a collection of apples, or the collection of mangoes will be under the arrays, whereas the collection of fruits, okay, which will not be under the homogeneous items because it is of not the same type. Similarly, when we see the arrays, it exhibits the property of homogeneity, the same data type. If we construct the array, it should be of same data type. So consider an array of elements. So if it is of integer data type, each and every element in an array should consist of an integer. So this is the example of an array. So it is showing the space, that is the index where each value is located. Same, another example for an array which consists of data type of float, that is the decimal numbers, which will also be considered as an example of an array where every element consists of the floating point numbers. Then we will see another example. See, you can see it consists of both the character, float, and integer, which is not an array. So the array consists of each and every element of same data type. The real life arrays, for an example, we can see the most favorite chocolate can be considered as a real life arrays. So the arrangement of eggs in shelves and a very commercialized solar arrays. They are called as solar arrays. So this can be an example for real life arrays. So the arrays are the collection of data items. Next, if we want to discuss about the types of arrays, the dimensions come into play. Types of arrays comes in terms of dimensions. They are of one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and three-dimensional array. One-dimensional array consists of either one row or one column, whereas the two-dimensional array consists of both rows and columns. In this example, we can see 1, 2, 3. 3 columns and 2 rows. When it comes to three-dimensional, it has rows, columns, and height. To start with, we see about one-dimensional arrays. You can see the structure of one-dimensional arrays, where the array is going to be a container in which the elements are present. Here the elements are about 1, 2, 3, 4. All the elements should start with the index 0. This is mandatory for array. Each element is indexed starting from 0. Since it is 4 elements, the index are 0, 1, 2, 3. So the first element that is going to be indexed by always 0. In this example, this array is going to consist of 4 elements, where the index starts from 0 and then 1, 2, and 3. Next, we'll see how we can declare array in C. As an example, we can see int marks within brackets 10 and a semicolon. So this statement indicates the array declaration. So here we need to see about the 3 important points in declaration. First is the array data type. Second is the name of the array. And third is the array size. So first indicates that the array is going to contain only integer items. Then the name is given, and the 10 indicates that it is going to contain 10 numbers. So it is going to have the structure from the indexing 0 to 9 as shown here. So this is only will declare the memory space in order to hold 10 numbers of in the array. Next, we discuss about array initialization, where arrays are initialized with values. Example, int marks within brackets 10 indicates that there are 10 numbers in the array named marks. So, as an example, we can see 10 numbers are initialized to the array marks. Another example, we can see int balance with the arrays of 3 numbers, which is not given the number of items in the array. That can also be initialized like this. So the array can also be initialized by giving declaration and initialization together by a single statement int balance to open bracket is equal to the values. So understanding the syntax of an array, the array should have an array name, the data type, and the elements that is going to be the main part of an array. So in this example, we have an array named balance, and the balance is going to be 0, 1, 2 of index, and the container in the balance, that is the values, is going to be 300, 200, and 100. So we have the 3 important parts of the array name, data type, and the elements, and each elements are accessed by index. So that's what we are going to see in the next section, accessing and indexing of one-dimensional array. So each element can be accessed by the index. Say the marks of 0 will give the first array element, and the marks of 9 will give the 10th array element. And if we want to do a particular element, we can give by a particular index, and that output can be obtained by accessing the specific index. So how we can get a particular value from an array? So that is by indexing. So we know the index starts from 0, 1 and 2. So in this example, we have taken balance of 1. So what is balance of 1? So we need the output 200. So in order to access 200, we need to give balance of 1. So that is the syntax. So we need to use the array name given by the index. So automatically we'll get the value 200. So this is how we can access a particular element from an array. Next comes how to enter or insert a value into an array. So if you are having a data specifying the index, we can have the entering or inserting by specifying the index. So as already we explained how we can access the particular value. Similarly, we can specify the values of array by indexing. So when you want to give the data into an entire array, so we need to use the looping concept. So as we know, we have the array of 10 numbers. So it starts from 0 to 9 of index value. We can give a loop, for loop, for I is equal to 0, I less than 10 and I plus plus, where the loop starts from 0 to 9. So as an input statement in C, we have to use the scanf, indicating that we need a integer values, and it is stored in the array named marks, and the I indicates the iteration values from 0 to 9. Okay. So if you give a specific values, this will be stored directly into the each value of the array. But when we give in terms of scanf, the user can give the real-time values. So each time if we run the program, the arrays can have different values. Next, we can see how we can read or access in one-dimensional array. So reading by specifying the index. As we have seen, accessing by specifying. Similarly, we can read or print by specifying the index in an array. Say for example, if I want for the first, second, third, fourth item of an array, I should give marks within square bracket 3. So this is the output statement by specifying the index. If we want to access an entire array, that is whatever that is present inside an array, we need to give a for loop. So we know that it contains about 10 elements from 0 to 9. So we can give it by printing with the iteration value. So it is given by printf. The percentage D indicates the data type, that is the integer, then the array name with the iteration value. So this is how we can read or access an array. Next comes the discussion about storing and reading in single dimensional array. So we can take an example in an array. So we can include the header file, and we'll start with the main function. So first we declare the array, then we store the data in an array as we have seen already. So each index value is given a particular data. And then we can read from an array by giving each and every element. Okay. So if we see, we will get an example, that is the output like this, because we have given enter marks of 0. So we'll get whatever that is being assigned for each value. Next, we can see another how we can store or read the value of the data as a whole, by that is using a for loop. So int I, so that is for the iterated value, then int marks of 10, that is for array declaration, and we create a for loop. by giving the marks. So we store the marks in an array by giving an input statement. Then we read data from an array by using a printf statement, that is the output statement. So if we give the inputs like this, and we will get the output like this. So each and every input is given through indexing. So similarly, using the iterated value, we can get the output. Then next we can discuss about the array operations. As an example, first we will see a C program to copy all the items of an array into another array. So first is to include stdio.h to include the header files. Then we declare the main function. So we are now initializing two arrays. One is ARR1 of 30, another ARR of 30 items. And these two are the variables to hold the values. So first we are going to enter how many number of elements we wanted to create in an array. So that is accepted from the user. So that is used by the scanf, that is %d, and then that number is stored in the variable number. Then we wanted to enter how many number of values that is given by the user. We wanted to enter the values one by one. So it will be from 0 to I less than number. So if the user gives 5, it will be from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So each value is obtained from the user and it is stored in the array 1. So copying the data from array to array B is the next process. So we are going to get another for loop for just transfer whatever we have in array 1 to array 2. So you can just given all the elements into that. So you are printing the array one by one by using the values. So we can see that here you can get each what are the item, that is the index value along with the item that is being stored. So let's see the input. So say for example, if the enter number of element is 5 and the values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the output will be, the copied array will be in this array 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how we copy the elements from one array to another array. Next operations we can discuss how we can obtain a largest element from an array. So to start with, we include the header file and then main function. Then we declare variables and we declare, as an example, we can just take a float, okay, a float data type with creating ARR, that is the array name with 100 values. Now we can ask the user to indicate how many numbers he wanted to enter into an array. Then it is given by the user. Then using the for loop, we can get each and every element in an array. So that is to store the number. Then each number is compared with the numbers in the previous value. So say for example, if we take the first number, r of 0 is less than ARR of I, that is the next element. So then automatically it is being assigned. The values are being assigned to this. So like this, one by one, it is checked and the largest number is found in the I. So the largest number is stored in the first element. So if we consider the input, say enter the total numbers 5 and the numbers are 6, 8, 4, 2, 3. So the largest number will be 8.00 as we have indicated that it is a floating point array. Even though if we give all the numbers in integer, it will take it in terms of float as the data type indicated is float. Next section will discuss about two-dimensional arrays. The two-dimensional arrays, as we already discussed, it has the rows and columns. So the row index is going to be 0 and 1, that is 2. The column index is 4. So the total elements stored by this array is going to be 8. So this will be a structure for two-dimensional array. When we come into array declaration of two-dimensional array, we need to give rows and columns. The same int arr, we need to give the rows and columns. So if we give like this, you can see we have two rows. So that is indicated by 2. The first square bracket and the second square bracket is 3. So if we take int AR2, 3, the array is declared with 2 rows and 3 columns. You can see row 0, row 1, column 0, column 1, column 2. And each element is designated or indexed by 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, and 1, 2. So this is how we indicate the values in each array in two-dimensional array. When we come to initialization, same as how we given data into the one dimension, in two dimensions also, we need to give data into the array in terms of row wise. Say for example, we have taken int ARR 2, 3. So it is 1, 2, 3 and 11, 22, 33 row wise and column. So you can see that we have 2 and 3. So this will be row 0 and this will be row 1 and this will be column 0, column 1 and column 2. This is how it is going to be initialized, or the data is stored in the two-dimensional array. So as an example, now we'll see about the storing and reading of two-dimensional array. So for that we take an example program to store the temperature of 2 cities per week. Okay, so consider the first including the header files and 2 constants for the city and the week. So starting with the main function. So 2 variables for the iteration, that is because we use the 2 dimensions. So I and j, 2 nested for loops to be used to indicate the two-dimensional array. So for I is equal to 0, I less than city and I plus. So it's going to be next. Say for a particular city and a particular week, what will be the temperature? So we can get the temperature values from the user by using a scanf, that is the input statement, and we are going to display the same. Okay. So for the particular city and in a particular week, what will be the temperature? So that is indicated by this program, and we can see the input. Say in the input of city 1. So city is taken as 2. So 2 cities, and you know that the week is of 7 days. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 7, the certain temperatures are given for these values because it is of two-dimensional. 7 2s are 14. 14 values will be printed. So displaying the same values. So we are getting the output array. So it is a two-dimensional array consisting of city and day. That is here because we have taken as the week. So the week is going to be of 7 days. Okay. The next, when we discuss with the array operations, we are going to just discuss about a C program to find the sum of 2 matrices. As we all know, the two-dimension array is always termed as the matrix. So to start with, we include the header file and the main function, and we declare three arrays. Two arrays for the inputs and one array for the output. That is, we take inputs A and B. The two arrays are taken and it is added, and the value is stored in C. So this is for iteration. The two variables I and j are taken. Then we get the first elements by two for loops. Okay, and then we get the inputs in the first matrix, taking the input for the first matrix, and then we take enter elements to the second matrix. We know row wise we'll take the second matrix, so I plus 1, j plus 1, and then we use the scanf. So first scanf is for A matrix, second scanf is for B matrix, and we take another loop to do the addition operation of the matrix, where the first element of A and the first element of B is added, and then that is stored. Okay, so the very important structure, we know that it is going to be a square matrix whenever it is going to be adding, so that if we are going to change in this values, then we will get an error. So then we'll go to the displaying of the sum of the matrix. Then using the printf statements, we can display the C matrix. So when we get the elements, say first element matrix is 1, 2, 3, 3, and the second element matrix, if we enter, and the output will be 3.0, 3.0, 7.0, and 5.0 as according to the data entered. Since it is a float, we are getting 3.0, 3.0, 7.0, and 5.0. Next, we'll discuss about multi-dimensional arrays. Multi-dimensional arrays are declared by the syntax, the type of the array, name of the array, and the dimensions. For example, when we take float, the array name, and we have given 5 dimensions. So this is an indication of 5-dimensional array. When we give 3 dimension, it will be a 3-dimensional array. As an example, we can see a 3-dimensional arrays. 3-dimensional arrays can be considered as the 2 dimensions, okay, with the data. So it will be like 0th 2 dimension, first 2 dimension, and the second 2 dimension. They are all stored in terms of row wise. So when we taken the 3-dimensional arrays as an example, we can see the sum of the 2 matrices, where the same thing we have discussed, the similar type in 2 dimensions. We have taken the same thing in order to have a very clear definition of this 3-dimensional arrays, where we take I, j, and k. So we give 2, 3 into 2. So 3 2s are 6, 6 2s are 12. So this array can store about 12 values, where you take 3 axes I, j, and k, and the 3 values are given, and they are taken values from the input row wise. Okay, and then we display the values also by row wise by taking into the consideration of each and every element. So that this is an example. Say if we take 12 values, and each value of the element where it is designated by indexing 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 till 1 to 1, the values are displayed. Next, we discuss about the advantages of array. So arrays are of code optimization. So we use less lines of code to declare and as well as initialize an array. So it does a lot for code optimization, and it is easy to traverse the data as it consists of the very less space, and it is easy to sort data of the data items as it is given in terms of indexing. And very particular, it is having advantages of random access because we can access through indexing. So any number can be easily accessed through indexing. And when we come to the limitation of arrays, the static data, okay, because it is a static data, we cannot declare or we cannot allocate the values during the runtime. And it is very thing that it is having only same data types. We cannot deal with the heterogeneous data. And inserting data in an array is very difficult because we need to reallocate the particular value to the next location, and then only we can insert data. Similarly, the operation of deletion is very, very difficult because we need same thing, like we need to deallocate that particular value, and then we need to delete that operation. And then bound checking is very, very important because when we give 10 elements, it is from 0 to 9 because the indexing start from 0. That will also create some problems whenever you have in the memory allocation. And we have shortage of memory cost due to arrays. And we can have wastage of memory. Say if we are allocating 30 elements and we are using only 5 elements, then that will be a wastage of memory. So as an example of array construction for real-time applications, we can see the first thing is about the digital image processing. So where in the computer systems and even our monitors, CRT monitors, laptop monitors, are going to be an array of pixels. When we consider the library management system, the entire library management system is made of an arrays construction where the groups of books or the list of books according to the uh, headings are arranged in a library. When we comes to the Sudoku, the famous number game, so that is also in terms of arrays, and the famous chess, that is in terms of the computer program. The computer program entirely developed in terms of the arrays. Next, we can see a demo how a program is written in a C compiler in a mobile app and how it is getting executed. Thank you.